Most people are trying so hard to control life that they squeeze the very magic out of it. Yet the great secret of manifestation is to stop trying so hard. When you trust the universe, life unfolds naturally, just as a flower opens to the morning sunday. You see, life is not a problem to be solved, but a process to be experienced. When you stop forcing the river and let it flow, you begin to see that everything you desire is already on its way. The universe is not against you. It is you, moving, breathing, and creating through you. This may sound terribly strange, even paradoxical, because our conditioning tells us that if you want something, you must chase it, you must earn it, you must struggle for it. But look closely. Has struggle ever really brought you peace? Has forcing ever made you feel in harmony? The great mistake is believing that control creates security. Yet real security comes only when you stop grasping. The more you hold, the more life slips through your fingers. When you release your grip, suddenly life flows with ease, as if the whole universe had been waiting for you to let go. The universe is not some external power sitting on a throne, granting wishes to those who pray correctly. It is a vast, intelligent energy field, vibrating through every atom, through your breath, your thoughts, your emotions. And when you resist it, when you try to force outcomes, you create friction. But when you trust it, when you allow it to move freely through you, you align with that field. And in that alignment, what you call manifestation is nothing more than the natural blooming of what you already are. You don't make the flower grow, you allow it. We are taught from childhood that to get what we want, we must work harder, strive more, push further. But all this striving blinds us to the simple truth that abundance is not something to reach for. It's something to remember. For the universe is abundant by nature. Just look around. There is never a shortage of stars, never a limit to the waves that touch the shore, never a single sunrise that fails to appear. Life is constant generosity. And when you learn to trust that generosity, you become a channel through which it expresses itself effortlessly. To trust the universe is not to sit back lazily and hope it delivers a miracle. No, trust is an active participation. It is the willingness to say, I don't need to control this moment to enjoy it. It's the ability to move forward with openness, without the constant chatter of fear asking, what if it doesn't work out? You see, fear is imagination misused. The same imagination that paints pictures of disaster can also create visions of joy. The difference lies in trust. The moment you begin to trust that life supports you, you find that it always has. You were never separate from the universe in the first place. You are the universe, pretending to be a person, playing a role, acting out the beautiful theater of existence. The universe explores itself through you, through your laughter, your confusion, your desires. So when you trust the universe, you are really trusting yourself, not the little self of ego and fear, but the greater self that includes everything. And when you live from that awareness, abundance ceases to be something you manifest. It becomes the very air you breathe. Suppose you let go of every anxious thought about tomorrow. Suppose you stop trying to fix everything and simply allowed things to be as they are. What you would find is a curious lightness, a calm awareness that life is unfolding precisely as it should. It doesn't mean everything becomes perfect by your definition. It means everything becomes true. The right people, the right moments, the right opportunities begin to appear because you're no longer blocking them with your resistance. Trust is the space through which abundance can finally enter. You might say, but Alan, if I stop trying, won't my life fall apart? And I say, quite the opposite. The only things that fall apart are the illusions that were never real to begin with. When you stop trying to control, what dissolves is not your life, but your illusion of control. And what remains is the quiet intelligence of the universe itself, an order far beyond anything the human mind could design. When you stop pushing the river, the current carries you exactly where you were meant to go. Abundance is not a reward for good behavior. It is not a prize you win for meditating long enough or visualizing hard enough. It is the natural state of a mind in harmony with itself. When you no longer demand that life meet your expectations, you discover that life exceeds them. The greatest manifestation practice is not visualization or affirmation, but surrender. To say to life, I trust you. And in that trust, your vibration shifts. You stop radiating anxiety and begin radiating peace. And the universe, being a mirror, reflects that peace back as abundance. So to trust the universe is to join the dance. It's to recognize that you were never the choreographer, but the dancer, moving to a rhythm far older than your thoughts. Every event, every encounter, every challenge has been part of the music guiding you home to yourself. When you realize this, life becomes less of a struggle and more of a song. And the melody is one of abundance. But when you trust the universe, you discover that everything you've ever desired was not waiting out there. It was waiting in here, in the silence of trust. Trust is not a technique. It is not a method that you practice once a day before breakfast. It is a way of being, a quiet recognition that you and life are not two separate forces. It is understanding that the universe is not happening to you, but as you. When this realization dawns, you stop asking, how can I make this happen? And begin to ask, how can I allow this to happen? And from that small shift in awareness, the entire machinery of the cosmos begins to move in your favor. Because the truth is, the universe never makes mistakes. It doesn't misplace people. It doesn't miss opportunities. What we call bad luck or delay is often the universe rearranging itself in a more harmonious pattern than our plans could imagine. When you trust that unseen intelligence, even your disappointments become teachers. You begin to notice that every closed door was a kind of guidance, a gentle redirection toward what was truly meant for you. The more you trust this, the more you notice that nothing is ever truly wrong. It only feels wrong when you resist the flow. To trust the universe is to move from fear to wonder. Fear says, what if I lose? Wonder says, what might I discover? And that shift changes everything. The moment you meet life with curiosity instead of control, you awaken the same intelligence that grows the forests and moves the tides. You begin to sense the rhythm of creation moving through you. You realize that abundance isn't something you attract, it's something you recognize, because it was always here, like sunlight waiting behind the clouds of doubt. When you clear those clouds, the light shines effortlessly. Most of our suffering comes from believing we must earn what already belongs to us. We try to earn love, earn joy, earn abundance, as though existence itself were some kind of competition. But have you noticed that the trees never compete? The stars don't measure their brightness against one another. Each expresses its nature fully, without question. That is trust. That is faith in the process of life. You were born from that same intelligence, and it didn't stop working when you arrived. The same power that turns seeds into forests is working within you this very moment. But the mind, you see, is terribly clever at pretending it knows best. It wants guarantees, plans, timelines. It says, I'll trust, but only if I can see how. And the universe smiles and says, but that's not trust. That's negotiation. Real trust has no conditions. It's stepping into the unknown and realizing that you are the unknown, that life itself is improvisation. You can never predict the next note, but you can always stay in rhythm. That rhythm, that pulse of being, is the secret of abundance. You move with it, not ahead of it. It doesn't mean you'll never face challenges. It doesn't mean you'll never feel pain. It means that even in those moments, you sense a deeper wholeness, a quiet faith that all is unfolding as it should. Abundance is not the absence of struggle. It's the presence of grace. It's the feeling that whatever happens, you are being guided. And from that feeling, your mind relaxes, your energy opens, and life starts reflecting that openness back to you in the form of new opportunities and connections. People often ask, Alan, how do I learn to trust? And I tell them, you don't learn to trust, you remember to trust. You were born trusting. As a child, you didn't question whether the sun would rise or whether someone would feed you. You simply existed, open and receptive. Over time, society taught you fear, taught you to measure, to compare, to doubt. But beneath all that conditioning, trust is still there, like a hidden spring beneath the surface of your mind. When you sit quietly, breathe, and let go of control, that spring begins to flow again. Trust begins with small acts. You trust the breath entering your lungs without commanding it. You trust the heart to beat without managing each pulse. Extend that same faith to the events of your life. You will begin to notice that the same intelligence that keeps your body alive also orchestrates the circumstances around you. And when you align with that intelligence, you stop being a separate observer and become a participant in the universal dance. Then manifestation becomes effortless, not because you've mastered a technique, but because you've remembered who you truly are. The difficulty lies in surrendering control. The ego insists that without control, chaos will reign. But the universe is not chaotic. It only appears chaotic when you look at it through the narrow lens of personal expectation. From a higher perspective, everything moves in harmony. Even what you call mistakes or detours are part of a larger design. When you surrender, you align with that design. You stop trying to rewrite the music and start dancing to it. And when you do, life begins to surprise you, beautifully, consistently, abundantly. You begin to attract experiences not through effort, but through resonance. Because the universe doesn't respond to your words, it responds to your vibration. When you feel anxious, you vibrate with scarcity, and scarcity appears. When you feel trust, you vibrate with abundance, and abundance appears. This is not mysticism. It's the nature of energy itself. Everything you feel becomes a signal, and the universe mirrors it back. So the simplest way to manifest abundance is to live as though it were already here, to think abundantly, to speak abundantly, to give abundantly. And in doing so, you become abundance itself. But notice, this isn't a trick to get what you want. It's a realization that you already have everything you need. The only reason we feel lack is because we are comparing ourselves to an image in the mind, a fantasy of how life should be. The moment you stop comparing, you find that what is enough. And from that place of enoughness, life expands naturally. You begin to create not from desperation, but from joy. And joy is the most magnetic state in existence. The universe cannot help but echo it back. Trusting the universe doesn't mean you never take action. It means your action arises from inspiration, not desperation. You move not to prove your worth, but to express your joy. The difference is subtle, but profound. When you act from fear, your energy contracts. When you act from trust, your energy expands. And that expansion is felt by everyone and everything around you. Opportunities, people, and events begin to align with that vibration. It is as though life itself conspires to support your authenticity. That is how manifestation truly works, from the inside out. You see, the real purpose of trusting the universe is not to get things. It's to remember that you and the universe were never separate. Once you know this, abundance ceases to be something external. It becomes a reflection of your inner state. You stop chasing and start radiating. You stop begging and start creating. The trees, the oceans, the galaxies, they are not separate from you. You are their consciousness. temporarily dreaming of being a person. And when you awaken to that truth, even the simplest moments, the breeze, the laughter, the silence, become treasures beyond measure. If you wish to live abundantly, do not start by forcing life to give you more. Start by giving yourself permission to trust again. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, feel the pulse of existence moving through you. That pulse is the same one that guides the stars, that stirs the tides, that beats in the heart of every creature. To trust that pulse is to trust your own being. And when you live that way, your life becomes effortless, spontaneous, and full of wonder. Abundance ceases to be a goal. It becomes your natural state of consciousness. And so, my friend, the invitation is simple. Stop trying so hard to control the great mystery and start dancing with it. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a song to be sung. When you trust the universe, you join the melody, and the melody takes care of everything else. You will find that what you once chased now begins to chase you. The opportunities appear, the right people arrive, the doors open, not by your will, but by your willingness. For when you trust the universe, you discover it has always trusted you.